Today I'm building South America in Minecraft by copying a building from all of the 12 South American countries. I will also build a zoo with 20 different mobs. Welcome back to my survival world where I'm building the tallest Minecraft base. Over the last 1.5 years I built 153 buildings on the exterior of the tower. Among them are many that are inspired by real buildings. So I mapped them out, but there's one problem, as you can see. The map has these massive holes. Today I start fixing this by building 12 structures from South America, and by doing this I'm making my base even taller. But how do I do that? Let me start with Brazil to show you the process. I begin by searching for an interesting looking building from the given country. When I find something, I look up a few more pictures of it to get a full view of the structure. And because this statue looks rather complicated, I build it first in a creative test world. Once this is done, I collect the resources needed from my storage room. And in the final step, I add the building to the tower itself. For the other builds, I want to use some of the newer resources. So I go to the new mangrove swamp and start with the deforestation. I also got a little bit of mud. After Brazil comes Chile. For Chile, I go for the iconic Easter Island statue made from stone. For Colombia, I construct a tower from the Cartagena Cathedral, in Cartagena obviously. I bridge the gap between the statue and the church with a custom waterfall using some of the newly collected blocks. Then I place some of those colorful townhouses from Cuba. You might now be thinking, hey, Cuba isn't in South America, and that is correct, but I didn't know that and now I have already built it and I won't change it now. Above these houses I built one of these ruined stone houses in Machu Picchu. From Argentina I recreate one of the side towers from the Casa Rosada in the capital Buenos Aires. When I was searching for buildings from Bolivia, I found these really unique buildings designed by Freddy Maman and decided I had to copy one of them. The next country is Uruguay. Originally I wanted to build the Palazzo Salvo, it's after all the most famous building in the country, and I even did so in creative, but that building was just too large in my opinion. So I reconsidered and built something inspired by the Casa Pueblo that's smaller and it fits far better into that place. I also added this little sculpture inspired by this snake statue in Mexico. The next building is this church in Villarrica from Paraguay, the Iglesia Franciscana Nuestra Señora de la Asunción. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And in the corner I add a mangrove forest followed by this tower from the Starbrick Market in Georgetown, Guyana. On the other side I place this tower at the entrance of the Basilica San Francisco in Quito, Ecuador. For Venezuela I built the central tower of the Panteón Nacional. When I googled Venezuela famous building, that was all that came up. Lastly, I fill in this gap I left. But wait, I thought this was all, but apparently I forgot one country. And I'm not the only one, as it seems like no one has ever built anything from Suriname in Minecraft. So I decided to construct the mosque at Keizersstraat in Paramaribo, the capital. Here inside the camera mod I can freely explore the structure. We have the Cristo Redentor from Sao Paulo, no, not from Sao Paulo, from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And then I have the jungle. Honestly, if I think about it, what I built, there are a lot of church towers. I think I've built 3 different churches now, alone for South America. That's quite a lot. But especially in the sunset, I think those 14 buildings turned out pretty good. And the next step is filling in the interior. For this part of the tower I want to collect a few more mobs, so here I built several enclosures for the different kinds of animals I want to collect. And here we have it, 6 enclosures for 6 different mobs. But before I start collecting, I have to get rid of all the shulker boxes and sort them into the storage system. The first mob I want to collect is the frog. Frog can be found in the new mangrove swamp, and the trick is you only have to breed them with slime bows, and at that point they will lay their eggs into any water source. And once this has happened, you can just wait till the slime grows up into a tadpole, and then you can capture it and move it into the enclosure. The ocelot can be found inside a jungle biome, mostly on the trees, which makes it a little bit difficult, but all I had to do is take the ocelot, move it through a nether portal into the nether, and then transport the ocelot through the nether all the way to the other nether portal in my tower. And into the enclosure, of course. I found a rabbit in the nether next to the desert nether portal. That was rather easy. Obviously, just like the other one, I moved it through the portals into the tower and gave it a name tag. Polar bears are a little bit harder to find. Those ice biomes are rather rare. However, I was able to find a small polar bear, took it in my boat, and then moved it again through another nether portal, through the nether, and into the tower. Then I did the same with the panda. The trick with all those nether portals is obviously that you save most of the way. The last mob will be a little bit more difficult. This mob is the bat, and the problem with the bat is it doesn't spawn at this height, it only spawns at caves, it only spawns if it's dark, and so I can't spawn it in here even if it were dark. I have to be below ground. Another problem is they can fly, and of course I can't use the lead with them. But I have a plan that could potentially work, and step 1 is breaking that portal. Step 2 is making another portal in a cave where it is dark enough directly below the tower so that I would end up in the right nether portal once I leave it. Okay, that worked. Now step 3 would be to close off this area so that the bat cannot escape once captured. And now step 4, turn this cave dark so that bats can spawn. Where does this light? Okay, it was just a bug. Yeah, there's no light, so bats should spawn any moment. Well, any moment turned out to be almost an hour, but a bat has spawned. Now I only have to get it through the portal. I assume there must be some kind of trick, but I don't know it, so I will simply try to cut off the way into this direction to force the bat to go into the other direction. It should now have no way to move but into the direction of the portal. Come on. Just a little bit. Why is it trying to move into the other direction? Come on. Come on. Yes. Yes. Okay, now that this is done, I can destroy that portal. Fly up the tower. And then activate this portal. Now I only have to open the way into the cage or the enclosure. And if I now step through the portal, I should end up in the nether with the bat. And that worked. Where's the name tag? Here. It now has to move through the portal again, and the bat will be in the enclosure. Move through the portal. Move through. I'm surprised that doesn't work. There's some trick I'm missing. Literally in the portal, and it has moved through a portal before. Can I move through that portal, or does it also not work? It works for me, so... Maybe there has to be air on the other side of the portal, although that would be new to me. Let's try that out. Okay, apparently you need air blocks on the other side. Who could have known? But we have now trapped a bat. And now I only have to get out without the bat escaping as well. Okay. The bat is captured. The portal can be removed. Now it's time for the next area. Here an additional 5 enclosures for 5 different mobs. The silverfish can be found in the fortress if you break an infected stone brick. The spider is found in the plains biome at night. The cave spider, or the poisonous spider, I forgot the correct name, is found inside a mineshaft, and the slime can be found inside a swamp. Now the only thing left is to transport all those mobs into the nether and into the cage. And for the endermite, all we have to do is throw ender pearls till one spawns. And now that 5 more mobs are collected for my mob zoo, I can continue with the next level. Okay, here's the additional level, also for an additional 5 mobs. One particularly hard mob here will be the phantom. Those can fly and are really hard to get. But first the magma cube. That one's easy, there are a lot of them in the nether. The zoglin can be found in my zoglin farm, also in the nether. The next mob is the llama, and we can find that in the mountain biomes. Luckily I have a map and there's a large mountain range. I only have to go eastwards and then all the way south, and we have this massive mountain area here, and I probably should find a goat. And I've already found some. That was surprisingly easy. Great. The strider can be found in the lava seas inside the nether. I have to move them through several portals and through the overworld to get them all the way into the enclosure inside my tower, where it is finally warm. Now the last level of the enclosures, a special room for the ally, as well as a stable for horses and the other rideable mobs. I also used the time to find a phantom at night. That's when they spawn. I used cobwebs to capture them and then just built a ceiling above them. The pig was rather easy to find. That was a mob I forgot to mention. I tried to get an upside down pig. For that I had to dangle it and then push it down with pistons so that moss is above it. Sadly you can't move moss with a piston, otherwise it would be a little bit easier. And the last step is you name it Ditterbone, so it is upside down. Here we can see it. To get a mule you only have to breed a horse with a donkey. That's rather easy, I already had them at another portal. The skeleton horse can be found in my garden because I had a lot of them spawn during building it, and the donkey is already inside the nether. Last mob, the allay. That one's a little bit harder, you have to steal it from pillagers and they don't really like that apparently. And then you only have to transport it through your world to the next portal, which also took some time, especially because I forgot my bed, but I did it. Now through the portal, through the nether and into the tower. You can lure them with items, by the way. This is also apparently how you get an achievement for using the ally in the intended way. With the ally captured, I've almost completed the collection of all mobs in the game. There are a few mobs missing, mostly the aquatic mobs. At one point I will build a big aquarium from them all. But apart from that, only 3 mobs are missing which I can capture in the overworld. In the next episode I will focus on the warden, for which I will build a gigantic temple below ground. If you have, by the way, any idea how I can name any of the mobs, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, also leave a comment. And if you like the series, consider subscribing. Have a beautiful evening and goodbye.